Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ananya Arora and today we'll be discussing the Golden Globes 2021 red carpet. So I just opened a vlog by Vogue and they have listed their best dressed and I'm just going to review them for the first time along with you guys and tell you how I feel about them. Do they deserve to be in the best dressed list or not in my opinion? And are there looks which are too horrendous to be even, on the list? So let's get started. Now, first up, we have Anna Taylor Joy in Dior, and she's wearing this green color, emerald green color dress with a cape in the same color, in the same fabric. Now, I absolutely love this dress. It is very chic, it is very pretty, it suits her very well, complements her color tone, even the hair color that she's carrying very well. Now, I'm absolutely in love with the low neckline. It fits her so well, it does not look vulgar at all, it only accentuates, and it was very nice to not, kind of make it a corset dress but put the straps into it so it just kind of accentuates and gives her that V formation and really complements her collarbones and everything. It really suits her. And now I don't see an issue with that dress, but if I have to, my issue would be with the fitting of the lower part of the skirt. Because she's carrying a cape and she's wearing a dress underneath. If the dress was a little fitted, I think that it would have fitted her, it would have complemented her much better. And the second thing is about the length. So it's not a floor length dress, it's not an ankle length dress, so it's not even T length. So I don't know what that length is, but I really feel that if it was a floor length dress, it would have really added on to it. But this is a very, very powerful kind of look that has been put together by Dior for this red carpet event, and I am absolutely in love with this. So points for Dior. Next up, we have Viola Davis in Larvae by UK. So this is a very good dress. I would say good because I'm not a fan of the print, but I really like the way it fits and the silhouette of the dress. It has puffy sleeves, an asymmetrical neckline, and at the calf or at the knees, I suppose there is a flare that kind of adds up and gives it that grandeur that is required for the red carpet. I'm not a fan of the print. I don't like putting these many colors together in that too in solids for a print. That is only my personal choice and opinion. But it kind of does say what she was trying to convey with it. And the jewelry that is paired with the gown, I think that if the gown had such a bold color and a bold print, even the jewelry could have had some amount of color and not as simple as it looks or as sleek or subtle that it looks, because it would have really complemented the look. I love the way that she has not carried any accessories on her hands or even the rings that I can see, because it was not required given the amount of color that is there or the amount of visual dominance that is already coming through the print. Next up, we have Ellie Fanning, if that's the way to say it. Ellie Fanning in Gucci. So I love the color of the gown, but if you ask me about the silhouette or the finishing or or the way the fabric drapes around her body, I'm not a fan. Because I understand that, having studied or constructed some garments, you do understand that a bias grain is a very tough grain to work with in a particular fabric. So to accentuate or to make a fitted dress in a bias grain, it's an art in itself. But to add on so much paneling, like there are two lines here and there is another cutout here, then there is another belt here, then there is another cutout, then there is a skirt which has so many panels, and there is a trail, there is a cape that is happening. So there's a lot that is happening in this particular gown for me, and I'm not a big fan of what is happening around the abdomen part of it. I do like what is happening on the bust area and giving a V neckline with a little sash here, and probably that would have been enough. It was just followed by a plain skirt, and that pleated bell thing was not required. Now moving on to next look, which is worn by Rosamund Pike. I'm sorry, please, I don't know how to pronounce these names. In Molly Gordon. So she's wearing a big tulle dress in red, and does this dress make an impact? Maybe. Does it, do you remember this dress once you see it? Definitely yes. Does it look pretty? No, it does not. it kind of, I think it is in the best dressed list only because it is kind of new, it is kind of never seen before. But does it do anything to the wearer? Does it complement the body or the vibe or anything? To me it almost looks like a children's gown with a very awkward empire line which just flares out, and the length is odd. And okay, so in short, I'm not a fan. Next up, we have Regina King in Louis Vuitton. So this is a very beautiful silver, all shiny sequence gown with a asymmetrical panel in black that does something on the sleeve and on the neckline. It has absolutely beautiful fitting. Now, for me, I think if the kind of hairdo and the jewelry that she's carrying, if those panels were not there, they would have still made her look as pretty as she looks here, because the fitting is beautiful. It fits very nicely. Even the shine that is there on the that thing, it looks really nice. Now, do I feel that the panels are unnecessary? Yes, in my opinion, a little. But they kind of do add on to the final look of it. It kind of makes you remember this gown, or it kind of makes it different from everything else. So it does its job, but in my opinion, even if one of those two things that is happening on the around the collar or on the sleeve, it was not there, it would have still been enough, and a complete look in itself. So next up, we have Satchel Lee in this gown by Gucci. So she was one of the Globe ambassadors this time, and I do feel that she could have done a little different considering that she was the Globe ambassador. But this look also suits her, it kind of complements her. But I'm not a fan of the gown because I feel that it has some issues with me, in my opinion. For example, these cutouts do look very pretty and they are done in a symmetrical pattern, like there are two here and there is one in the center. And then when you go down to the skirt part of it, there is a side slit. For me, if something is following symmetry in the upper part of the gown or in the upper part of the dress, it should continue in the lower part of the dress too, to make it, look a little more connected. For me, to have symmetrical elements here at the top and then putting an asymmetrical side slit in the bottom kind of killed it for me. If it was a back slit, in the center, it would have, give the functionality and then kept the look intact. Or if it was a center front slit also, it would have still kept the symmetry and the balance of the dress, given, the upper part of it. Now I'm a fan, you can say I'm a fan of the embellishment that is done here. It looks very chic, very elegant, very subtle. So it was a good look, but I just have a problem with that slit. I thought it was a little unnecessary. Now next up we have Jackson. He was also one of the Globe ambassadors this time, and he's also wearing Gucci. Now I do feel that wearing a black tux a black tux underneath this green colored cape with the pop of pink around the sleeves and the hem makes it look like a kind of a nightgown kind of thing for me, because it really killed the tailoring of whatever he was wearing underneath, and then putting a cape like that. I do feel that sheer is making rounds, like sheer transparent fabrics are making rounds in menswear in and out, and they're kind of picking up. So if he had to, or if he wanted to take a cape, maybe with those broad panels in contrast colors, a sheer gown would have kind of added to the look for him, and then kept the structure of the tux or whatever he's wearing underneath, and let the details of that kind of add to the visual element. I think that would have been much better rather than this. This kind of kills it for me and makes it look very casual or very nightgown. Next up, we have Kate Hudson in LV. So now she's wearing a embellished corset with puffed up sleeves in black and a black skirt and a black belt. For me, it's an absolute nightmare to wear different textures and colors of the, different textures and weights and materials in the same color. Like if you see it at the first look, she's wearing a black, but then when you go in further, she's wearing a satin sleeve, she's wearing a leather black belt, a satin black sleeve, and a matte black skirt. For me, it kind of kills me because it does not connect. It does not connect for me at all. If you're wearing black, either wear it in the same fabric, in the same material, or don't wear it at all. The corset is beautiful. It fits her beautifully, but it's not a big deal coming up from a big brand like LV. And the sleeves do look very good on her. Even the hair and everything, they really complement of what she's wearing. And the skirt also fits very nicely. It makes her look very petite. It makes her look very nice, very very power look. But then there is this add-on of the belt with a horrendous gold buckle, which really kills it for me. It was not at all required. And why would you even put a belt on a corset? Like, it is not required. The whole idea of a corset is to fit you like a glove, or even, tighter than a glove, and give you that structure. Why would you put a horrendous black belt on your corset and kill the entire vibe for me? I'm very surprised this made to the Vogue best dressed list, because it absolutely does nothing for me after you've put a belt on it. Like, literally choked the look for me. Next up, we have Andra in Chanel. So this was a look that really caught my eye and stayed with me, because there is a lot of visual elements that are happening here, but it still looks very balanced, and it really does, a lot to give her that power look. For me, I love power women. I love when women look powerful, in structured clothing and all that things. But I do feel that the kind of hairdo with a high bun and, leaving the natural curls out of it, and there's a V neckline, there's another V that parts in the middle, and there's a lot of visual texture that happens all around the bodice till the hip line, and then from hip line there is a flare. So either we see it from the waist, or we see it at the knee, or we see it from the upper empire hemline. So this was very new to be spotted on a red carpet. I don't think I have seen this in a very long while on a red carpet. So now, talking about the accessories, I think that it was a beautiful move to keep the accessories here, and she's wearing a beautiful pearl diamond earring, but the neck is left bare because she's wearing a halter neck V, and then it really gives out the power look for me. So it was one of my favorite looks from the Golden Globes red carpet. And next up, we have Cynthia Erivo, excuse me for the pronunciations, in Valentino. So, okay, this look really aced it. Like, it's a T-length dress with a lot of structure, inside out seams, nude pair of gloves, and platform heels that were too high. Like, it reminded me of Lady Gaga's platform heels. And I have nothing to say. This look was beautiful. After this pandemic, to have a look like this on the red carpet, it was too fresh, too new, but kind of sat in balance. Even the color, for me, I'm not a fan of neon colors, but I do feel that, this look paired up with nude gloves, it kind of really balances it out. It washes out the jarring effect of the color because of those gloves, and keeping the accessories very minimal. Now, the interesting thing is that the insides of a gown or the seam are on the outside. That's the only embellishment that has been used along all this, the whole gown, and the panel is here and the center panel. So all these seam lines kind of add the structure to the wearer. Also, they do complement the wearer. And at the same time, this is very new, to be looked at. So for me, this is fresh design. This is something that kind of, you can say, turns me on when I look at it, because this is so brilliant. It is so less is more kind of thing, because it does make an impact at you, but then at the same time, it kind of, I'm speechless. It is too good. Okay, next up we have Amanda Seyfried, excuse me for the pronunciation, in Oscar de la Renta, and she is wearing this beautiful coral pink color gown with an entire ring of roses or flowers or ruffles or whatever you want to call it. I am a fan of this look. Do I feel this has been seen before? I don't think so. This particular look has been seen before, but a lot of similar looks have been seen before. So I do, feel that, you have kind of seen it. It's not that new, but does it complement her? Does it do wonders for her? Yes. Do I like this? Yes. Am I a fan? Yes. So, I think it is a lot because of my personal bias towards these kind of looks, which are very feminine, but they're still very minimal in their own way. And this has a lot to do with my personal style as a designer, and probably that is why I have an affinity towards this particular style. Really complements her, and this looks complete in a very less way, and the kind of no back at all kind of thing really adds up to the appeal of the entire thing. I would have wanted to see more pictures of this particular gown, but I don't think that there are many that have been shared by. Next up, we have Emma Corrin and Miu Miu. So I'm not going to talk about the inspirations and where this particular idea of the style came from, because that's another story altogether. But if we just look at the visual appeal of the gown, I like it. I really like it. It is fresh. That collar does bring us it reminds us of the olden times when the British and Victorian people used to wear these huge collars, and then there are puffed up sleeves and they are full. And I assume from this picture that even the back of this gown is completely covered. Now, what adds to this gown and makes it very modern is the underskirt or the lower part of the dress, because even though the upper part or even though the bodice of the dress is very Victorian or very old times inspired, the bottom of the skirt is very modern. It kind of connects it to the real time, or to today, because you have a very slender A-line skirt and there's a very high, almost like a upper than a mid-thigh slit. And it was required. Like, in my opinion, there might be some people who feel that the slit was not required given the entire dress was covered and it was a straight skirt. But I do feel that it kind of adds to the appeal. Now, you do all the pictures that you see of her, she's not flashing the slit, she's not even stepping a leg out and posing for the pictures, but you do know that slit exists, and it's kind of a very minimal but very strong element that kind of completes the dress and gives it that a little of the interest that is there, that is in the dress, and kind of completes the look. So yes, I am a fan of the dress. Next up, we have Julia Garner in Prada. So I don't know what Prada is doing exactly, because I saw 2-3 looks that were done for this particular event by Prada, and I'm not a fan of either one of those. And talking about this particular look, just because it made to the best dressed list by Vogue, I don't know why. I am not a fan. That plunging neckline is horrendous. I thought everybody would learn a lesson after Priyanka Chopra wore that horrendous neckline, and it was an absolute fashion disaster. And I thought that we are not doing these necklines with anytime further or anytime soon. But this particular neckline really disappoints me, because I do feel that it does nothing to the wearer. It is not fitted, it does not showcase your body in a very flattering way. It is too loose, and I almost believe that it was taped to her body or on the insides to stay in place, because it is too loose. It is a straight dress, and it kind of just kills everything else for me. Like, there is this beautiful pleating and there is this beautiful embellishment. There's a beautiful hand embroidered belt that is there, and she's wearing some bracelets or bangles here. But I would only go and notice all of those things once I have stopped glaring at that jarring cleavage in your face and the horrendous neckline. Like, can we just please stop doing this? I'm very surprised this made it to the Vogue best list, because I absolutely don't understand why. Next up, we have Lily Collins in Saint Laurent. So this is very beautiful, absolutely stunning. It does a lot for her, and even the styling is way on point. She has powerful eyes, she has curls, very strong in place curls, and that kind of complement the curves in her body. There's a beautiful cutout at the waist that beautifully accentuates what she's wearing, and even the pose, like to lean towards a certain side and pose for the particular pictures that she's sharing with us. It really adds on that how much of thought that it has been put into this particular look. And even the asymmetry, like to have no sleeve on one side and to have not only a sleeve but a very puffed up with a strong shoulder kind of sleeve, and that too which is full, the gathered hem of the sleeve. It's a very powerful thing to do, and to pull it off. Now, I do understand that there's a lot that she is also doing herself, like she's carrying it so well. But if you look at the dress itself and ignore the other elements like the accessories and the hair that are complementing the dress, I do feel that I am a fan of the dress. Now, these are the prints that I am a fan of. I personally like these prints, even though they have a lot of colors, even though they have, contrasting colors. Like, I do believe that there's a blue and there is a brown and there is white in this particular print. It kind of settles in, it gels well, and it does not, like, print does take attention from you, but it does not take the entire attention from you. So it's pretty cool. I love it. It's amazing. Okay, so this brings us to the end of the best dressed list by Vogue. I did not cover all the looks that were covered by Vogue, because the other looks just did not do for me. Like, they were not too good and they were not too bad, and I did not feel like discussing them on this video. But there were two other looks that did not make it to the Vogue best dress list, but I really like them. So these two looks are from menswear and both of them are from Valentino. I absolutely love these looks because they are such a fresh take on the menswear itself. So first on Dan Levy, we have this Valentino suited in yellow and he's wearing entire yellow with a golden sequined undershirt. You know, a turtleneck with the minimal accessories, and he's wearing a silver boot with that. Now, this look is very fresh for menswear. I absolutely love this. Now, this is something, in my personal opinion, I would not carry because this is not my style. But it is so nice to see, you know, men breaking out from the black, blue, beige, browns, whites to these pop of colors and styling them so nicely. You know, I feel that, you know, if he would have gone for a golden boot with the sequins golden, it would have been something that is a little predictable or a little too monochromatic. So to add a color, and that to a metallic color, to a monochrome on some, is beautiful, or I think it's pretty intelligent, whoever thought of this. And I just really love the look, and thanks to Valentino and thanks to Dan Levy for choosing to wear this on a red carpet. The other menswear look that I'm going to talk about is also by Valentino. So it was worn by Leslie Odom Jr. and I absolutely love this look also because this is such a beautiful take on the usual colors that are worn by men. There's a brown pant, there's a black shoe, there's a burnt sienna brown kind of coat, there's a white shirt, but that green turtleneck under the shirt, that's where the magic happens. I think this is a beautiful look. It combines everything so well. There is a touch of modern, there is a touch of youth, there is a touch of interest. Like the pants, coat and everything is so fitted, and to wear a turtleneck that is a pop of color, and just, you know, the styling is amazing. I mean, I just love the amount of color that happens around the neck. You know, you open two buttons and you see a little of green, and then you just kind of complement it, and that V kind of gives him the power structure with that blazer. Amazing. So these two were my favorite other looks that did not make it to the best dress list by Vogue, and I absolutely loved these two looks, and I believe that they would have, you know, if they made it to the best dress list, I would have been much happier. So this brings us to the end of the Golden Globes red carpet review and, you know, the best dress list review. I do wanted to say more, but I feel that, you know, this will be a little more or a little too long video, so I'm going to see how or what is the response that I get from you guys. If you are happy with this long form content, or if you're happy, you know, explaining me these things a little more in detail, let me know and I will take care of that. And until then, see you next time. Bye bye. Probably we will be, you know, reviewing Lakme Fashion Week because it has just begun. So in the next week video, I will be talking about, you know, Lakme Fashion Week probably. But if you have any other requests, any other topics that you want me to talk about, please do let me know in the comments, and like, share and subscribe. I do want to grow, so please help me do that, and see you next time. Bye bye.